I wanted to share with you a pretty special story about a guy that I know called James who took a business from doing 100k revenue to 10 million revenue in just 2 years. So, how did he do it? Well, he did this by becoming what I describe as a key person of influence, and he did this in the fitness industry. And he made sure that his services and business was completely oversubscribed. So, here's what he did. So James was a very successful personal trainer, but he was working 60 to 70-hour weeks to make 100 grand a year. So he would deliver circuit training, so basically charging customers a fiver a time every time they came to a gym hall that he hired, and he would give them circuit training, and he would run that 3 times a week, usually filling a gym hall each time he did it. And in addition to this, he acted as a subcontractor in a number of gyms who paid him to deliver certain fitness classes and one-on-one personal training. And what happened is that he actually broke his arm. He did the Tough Mudder challenge, and he slipped and broke his arm. And it was quite a bad break, and it meant that he basically couldn't work for about 3 months. So this gave him a little bit of time to reflect on life in general, his business. And what it made him realise was that his business was only viable with him working in it. If he wasn't able to work, he couldn't do business. And the only way he could influence his income was to work less or more hours. If he chose to work 100 hours and run extra fitness classes or do more one-on-one personal training events, then he would earn more revenue. And equally, if he didn't work all week because he wanted to take a holiday, he wouldn't be able to earn any revenue. So what he did whilst he was unable to work with the arm break, is he had time to really think about how he could turn his business into something really valuable that didn't require 60-hour weeks. And if he wanted to go on holiday, of course he could. So what he did is he used the time wisely to write a book, first of all, on the subject of personal training. He then built a website that positioned him as a leader in the field. And of course, because he'd written and published a book, this perhaps added some further credibility to it. And it basically meant that if somebody Googled him, they'd found that he'd written a book. They'd found he'd got his own website. And he wrote tons of contents which he published on social media, which then got obviously traction and ended up being published in fitness magazines. And he recorded, of course, some training videos on various personal training topics. He positioned himself then as a personal trainer to the rich and famous in London. And from that PR he was getting, he was now getting quite a following. He captured people that engaged with his website by offering some free tips and free fitness videos, and then he wrote a series of emails that sold his services and still gave away free content. Now, one of his emails said he was a personal trainer but was fully booked up, and that was true. But if anybody was interested in his services, they could add their name to his reserve list when a space became available. Now, he charged each client £5,000 a month, which gave them 3 1-hour 30-minute sessions each week, one-on-one personal training with him. He also got access to all of his content, videos, nutritional information, etc. He partnered with a leading nutritionist who was able to provide content, information on how to eat healthy, which of course complemented his fitness program. Now, he chose the nutritionist wisely because he wanted to ensure that they were also a key person of influence within their sector. So, funny enough, they'd also written a book, they'd actually appeared on TV and had a massive social media following. And this worked really well from a marketing perspective because he was able to get the nutritionist to market his fitness program to her network, and he, of course, did the same for her, his. Now, he only had space for 8 clients a week. Remember, there's only one of him. He provides 3 1-hour 30-minute sessions a week, so he can fit comfortably around about 8 clients a week. So when somebody put their name on his reserve list, he would interview them to make sure that they were really committed to fitness and his program. And after the interview, he'd tell them that they could have a place in 3 months' time. Now, of course, once he subscribed his 8 clients a week, he was generating 40 grand per month. So he'd taken his 100k a year earnings to best part of 500,000. And this is how he got his personal fitness business oversubscribed, by creating that demand, becoming that key person of influence in the fitness industry. Now, that was only part one. For all of those people that really wanted his time, but they couldn't have a place because remember there was only 8 spaces a week, he would run a boot camp 3 times a year, and it cost 25 grand to go on this boot camp. And basically you went to a luxury villa or hotel out in Bali, Indonesia, where it was a real intense week of fitness. And on his program he had 25 delegates, so every time he ran this program he was banking over 600k, and he did that 3 times in his first year. And he marketed the program with limited spaces to his subscribers. Now, part 3 is when he went from about 2 million revenue in his first year to almost 10 million in the second year. And at this point, he'd created a real marketing machine for high net worth people really interested in fitness and training across the globe. But he was only based in London, and of course, only services 8 clients in London. But he had subscribers in major cities around the world: Sydney, Singapore, New York, LA, lots of global cities. In fact, one of the people that went on his boot camp were actually, well, some of the people that went on his boot camp were actually already successful personal trainers, and they wanted to learn some new fitness tips that they could take back to their client base. So what he did is he offered them a license. So he said, you pay me 25 grand license fee and 15% of all of your revenues, and I guarantee to find you 8 clients in your city that you can, and you can also, of course, use the bootcamp training program where he would take people to Bali. They would run it in major cities in their jurisdiction. So from a balance sheet thinking point of view, he'd created assets. He ended up actually buying 2 hotels in Bali and LA, which he uses for his boot camps. And of course, all of his intellectual property is licensed out to his franchisees, which of course generates him revenue and also his licensees. So to grow a business like James, you really need to become a key person of influence and get yourself oversubscribed.